All right, guys, today our foldable adding and subtracting functions. This is a fun one. So we have this cool foldable here. We got the adding functions portion on top, subtracting on the bottom. We're just gonna dive right into it. Also, apologize for my Band-Aid, but I was, I was wrestling with the tiger and I bit my thumb off, and then I kind of just, put it back on, and I just put a Band-Aid so you guys can't see the, the wound, but so I just kind of reattached my thumb, so that's why it's there. So my apologies for grossing you guys out. Now, with that said, we're jumping right into it. Adding functions. So what's gonna happen is, we got two problems here. You can notice I pre-wrote some things to save some time, but they give us f of x, they give me a function. G of x, they gave me a function. And they want me to find f plus g of x. So they want me to add the f and g function together. So what I did was, and I always use parentheses, I took my f function, I wrote it down inside some parentheses. I'm adding it to my g function, and I threw in some parentheses. So I got my f function plus my g function. Pretty cool, right? Now, whenever you're adding functions together, the parentheses part is really not that important. I just did it anyways, so we can almost pretend they're not even there. But when it comes to subtracting, then you'll see why. So I'm just gonna kind of add these together. Now, when we add these together, I'm gonna color code a little bit. You guys can use whatever you have, but we're just gonna look for like terms. For instance, very first thing I do is I see a 7x squared. I'm gonna put a blue here. Where else do I see an x squared? Ooh, right here, this 5x squared. Those are two like terms. Then I can take my next one. This is not x squared, this is just an x to the first, or just x. Where else is just an x? Here we go, a minus 4x. And then we have just my number here, matches with just my number there. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to combine all these together. So combine my two x squared terms, combine my two x terms, and combine my two numbers. It doesn't matter order, but we're just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna do the x squareds first. So I'm gonna do 7 plus 5. I'm just gonna take it as is, right? 7 plus 5. So what's that gonna give me? It's gonna give me a 12x squared. Now for my greens, we have a 2x plus a negative 4x, or I could do 2 minus 4. Either way gives you the same answer. So 2 minus 4, 2 plus a negative 4, that's gonna give me a negative 2x. And then a negative 3 plus 2, well, that's gonna give me a negative 1. You could double check my work on a calculator, but that's it, guys. Look at that. I can't do anything more. Just combine my terms. That is what happens when I add f and g together. I get this. Done. Over here, let's have some more fun. They gave me two functions, an h function and an m function. Here's my h, here's my m. They want me to add, notice the notation looks different, but still means the same thing. They want me to add my h function to my m function. So I wrote down my h first, I threw in parentheses. I'm adding it to my m, I threw in parentheses. And remember, when you're adding functions, the parentheses are not really necessary. I just do it anyways to help visualize one function plus another, but you can almost pretend they're not there. So with that said, let's combine like terms. I got my y squareds. Anywhere you can find like terms, you organize it. I got my y's. Boom, boom. And I got my numbers. So I'm gonna combine these terms. Let's do my blues first, these y squareds. I have 4y squared minus 7y squared. Ooh, well, let's see here. 4 minus 7, that's gonna go ahead and give me a negative 3y squared. For my y's, I have a negative 2 plus 3. Well, that's gonna give me a positive 1. Don't forget the variable y there. And I got a 7 minus 9. That's a negative 2. And that's it, guys. You can double check my work in a calculator. I highly recommend using a calculator for yourself if you struggle with the little mental math there. But that's it, guys. That's all we gotta do. Next, for subtracting functions. Notice they pretty much look the exact same to start off with. So I got an f and a g. Then we do f minus g, okay? So again, order matters here. I put my f function first in parentheses, put my g function second in parentheses, so I have my f function minus my g function. Now, when it comes to subtracting function problems, the parentheses do matter. And when I say that, I mean this. We're gonna do one more extra step. We're gonna rewrite. The first set of parentheses, nothing's gonna happen. It's gonna stay the same. Okay, so that one kind of stays the same, right? But my other set this one over here. Okay, I can almost get rid of these, but I'm gonna keep them there just so you guys don't get all jumbled together. For this set, right, I have a minus, and then I have this set of parentheses. There's actually like a little 1 here that's hiding that I'm gonna technically have to distribute to all of these terms, okay? I mean, technically there was a 1 up here as well that you're kind of distributing, but it didn't matter because 1 times anything, it stays the same. So that it doesn't really matter. But when you multiply by -1, things do change. So that's why we really have to make sure we do it for this one. So -1 times 2 is a -2. -1 times a -4x, well, that's a positive 4x. And then we have a -1 times a positive 5, that's a -5x squared. So notice, it pretty much, the number stayed the same, but it changed the sign of everything inside of the parentheses. It did the opposite. So it went from positive to negative, negative to positive, positive to negative. And now, even though it looks a little weird, I'm just gonna keep it simple for now. I'm gonna look for my like terms to combine. Here are my numbers, and here are my x's. I'm just gonna combine these as is, guys. That's all I'm gonna do. So I got my 7 minus 5. Well, that's gonna be 2x squared. Again, I'm just using the signs right in front of the numbers, guys. That's all I'm doing. I got 2 plus 4, 6x. I got -3 minus 2. Well, -5. And we're done. Let's try another one. I'm gonna try to explain it slightly different too, but kind of the same. I have my h function, my m function. It wants me to find h minus m. Well, I wrote down my h function first in parentheses, subtract it from my m function, which I put second in parentheses. Now, because of subtraction, not like addition, something's gonna change. Not the first set. The first function stays the same. Now the second set, I got to distribute this -1, so it's gonna change everything, right? Now, I'm gonna keep the second set over here, and pretty much when we're done with this, I'll show you what I mean. -1 times 3y, well, that's now gonna be a -3y. -1 times a -7y squared, well, that's gonna be a positive 7y squared. -1 times a -9, that's a positive 9. So notice it's the same function, only all the signs flipped. Positive to negative, negative to positive, negative to positive. And now we can treat this just like an addition problem. I'm doing the exact same thing I did over here. I know I'm doing the notation a little bit differently, but use whatever's easiest for you guys. So I'm just gonna combine like terms, just like I did. I got my y squareds. I got my y's. And I got my just numbers. And I'm going to combine these like terms. 4 plus 7, well, that's gonna go ahead and give me 11y squared. -2 minus 3, or -2 plus -3. Either one, you'll get the same answer, -5y. And then finally, 7 plus 9, 16. That is my final answer. And we're done. That's it, guys. Super simple. Don't overcomplicate it. It looks complicated, but it's actually not that bad. So pause this video, rewatch, do whatever you gotta do. Learn something. You guys have a great, wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe. Hope you had as much fun as I did.